Coming into the ring right now, there you see the Shark, Pablo Rubio Jr. out of Whittier, California, the 19-year-old Whittier, east of downtown Los Angeles, off the 605 freeway. You know, just saying, the girls are prettier there. Rubio said, I don't care about that. I just want to come out and fight. The Whittier Cardinal alum, 19 years old, takes on Jorge Perez. And there you see the one and only Meta World Peace throwing out hats. Black shirt. It's the off season. He was actually here. We'll get into the story about Meta, but Meta is a huge boxing fan, and he's the Panda's friend. They say it as Joe Martinez, our ring announcer for tonight, is fanning himself because it is hot inside the Velasco Theater. I think the AC's working. There's Joe Martinez.
Super Bantamweight Division. Introducing to you first, fighting out of the blue corner. Wearing white trunks with blue lettering, he weighed in 122 pounds. In 4 professional bouts, his record stands even with 2 victories, 2 defeats, 1 win by way of knockout. Fighting out of Riverside, California, here is Jorge El Güero Perez. And next, his opponent across the ring, fighting out of the red corner. Wearing black with white trim, he weighed in 121 1/2 pounds. He stands perfect with 5 victories and no defeats, 3 wins coming by way of knockout. Fighting out of the City of Angels, Los Angeles, California, here is the undefeated Pablo the Shark Rubio Jr. And your referee in charge of the action is Raul Caiz Jr.
Let's go, fighter chief second. Mouthpiece. Mouthpiece. All right, gentlemen, you received the instructions in the dressing room. Know what I expect? A good, clean fight. Legal punches, you're a little bit high. Legal punches here. Touch gloves, good luck to both of you.
Raul Caiz Jr. giving the instructions and see the tail of the tape, Doug.
Yeah, Perez is 1 year younger. Rubio is 3 inches taller, and Rubio also has a significant reach advantage.
This was scheduled for 6 rounds in the Super Bantamweight Division. Second bout of the night, the LA Fight Club in downtown Los Angeles.
Ready.
Opening bout. Opening round, Pablo Rubio Jr., 19 years old. He's 5-0 with 3 KOs, the taller of the 2 fighters. Jorge Perez, it's spelled J-O-R-G, but he says it's Jorge Perez, 18 years old, in the white from Riverside, California. These two actually know each other. 3 months ago, they helped each other prepare for fights by sparring for 4 days in a row. Perez was fighting the younger brother of Leo Santa Cruz, Antonio, and Rubio was getting ready for his second bout of his pro career. Uppercut landed by Rubio. The Shark with the long arms. Perez said he knows about it. In this fight, he was going to do exactly what he's doing right now. Come out and try to smother him and not let Rubio use his arms, use the length that he has.
Well, you know what, Beto, I've noticed this immediately. Rubio's not really jabbing from the outside and executing what I would for a taller fighter. I actually think Perez is doing a pretty good job of just closing the distance and being where he wants to be. And he's actually landed a few overhand rights and a couple of left hooks early on.
Yeah, the punch of choice for Rubio is the uppercuts from either hand.
Rubio in his last bout, April 1st, here at the Velasco, won a split decision over Juan Carlos Benavides. And Perez, the last time he was in the ring here at the Velasco, was knocked out. 18 years old is Perez in the white. And why does he have that red hair? He lost the bet in November. For a year, he has to keep his hair red like a Mexican fighter named Canelo.
Did he pick Miguel Cotto?
He took Cotto.
Oh, see?
He took Cotto, and he lost this for a year. His hair has to be red. He's called El Güero. So, good little scrap right here in the opening round. It's scheduled for 6.
Yeah, these guys are putting hands on each other. I think the better punching technique, though, belongs to Rubio.
Body shot. Right hand landed. They look like 19 and 18-year-olds going at it right now.
Yes, they do. And they have similar experience. Rubio has 5 pro bouts. Perez has 4 pro bouts. Rubio has 15 total pro rounds. And Perez has 12 total pro rounds. Both guys aren't afraid to get in there and mix it up.
In the black trunks is Pablo Rubio.
Kais Jr. warning
Mouthpiece
Perez
goes
for
out of
headbutts.
Perez.
Yeah, he's tired.
Yep, he took a nice left hook from Rubio. Final seconds of the first round. It's scheduled for 6. And let's look at Pablo Rubio when he sat down with our cameras.
Everything has been good, you know, we've been working hard for 6 rounds. We've been sparring 6 rounds, maybe another round more to be able to last. And with different fighters, you know, we did 6 rounds, but we're sparring like 3 different fighters. So, you know, we're ready to box or be aggressive ourselves. Having the support of middle world piece is awesome, you know. Not everybody gets that, and you know, it's an awesome feeling. You know, it motivates me to want to keep fighting, and knowing that I have big supporters right behind me.
Let's go, take us out, mouthpiece in, let's go.
Second round, getting ready to go. Of course, you know that we're very active on our Twitter. I'm Durant Sports, Dougie Fisher, and Steve UCN Live. So send us the tweets tonight at Golden Boy Boxing. Also use the hashtag RingTVLive. And do appreciate the emails I get from you guys. And Steve, I got a guy who listens to the three knockdown rule.
Oh.
As a point has been taken away from Perez.
Kais warned him in the opening round.
He did.
And felt that Perez has been coming in with his head a little bit too much. Doesn't think it's an accident.
And Kais Jr. let him know, no, can't do it. Point taken away for fighter Perez, who's digging himself in there.
Time in.
Yeah, so 3 knockdown rule that you do with Mario Lopez.
Great podcast.
Guy sent me a tweet earlier in the week. Said, hey, I love it. When is Steve coming on your podcast? So, Steve, we got to get you on. Cross promotion.
Anytime,
Bill Paulson, I think is his name. Bill Ponson, I think, in Bakersfield. Appreciate it. Thanks for the support. Also, everybody in the Golden Boy office, Shauna and Yosdi, as you're watching a good scrap right now, make sure everybody's getting their tickets. As Pablo Rubio's letting his hands go now.
Well, I tell you one thing, neither guy is getting cheated in there. They're not putting their punches on layaway. But I'll say this, if there's a puncher of the two, keep this in mind, Rubio in 5 fights has 3 stoppages, Perez in 4 only has 1. And I get the sense, Doug, Rubio is the sharper puncher in there.
Yeah, he has the cleaner punching technique, and I think there's more snap at the end of his punches. His punches are doing more damage. You can see it on the face of Perez. Perez has got so much heart. He just willed himself off those ropes. He didn't slip off those ropes. He just willed himself off those ropes and pushed Rubio back on his heels.
A lot of blood coming down the nose of the Ramona High graduate in George Perez. He said he wants to be an architect. Oh, man, you better figure out a design right now for what Pablo Rubio's bringing to you. Also, of course, thanks to the CHP in the West Valley, Luis Arriaga, and everybody else watching. Theo, appreciate it.
Rubio makes good use of uppercuts inside. Now he's working, he's punctuating his body punch combinations with uppercuts, and I think it would behoove Perez, he just tried to land a right uppercut, to throw some uppercuts of his own.
More blood out of that right nostril.
As you noted, Doug, late in round number 1, I thought Perez expended a lot of energy in the first 2 minutes of the fight. And you could see now Rubio is much more of the guy that's cardiovascularly efficient. And he's right there. His punches are coming together very nicely, coming off very nicely with a lot of speed and precision. Perez now is
basically left from Rubio, knocks out the mouthpiece of Perez. Kai's going to jump in there, and that was a nice left hook.
Yeah.
Second time in this bout that the left hook has knocked out the mouthpiece. And to quote our man Linus, the Esquire, 2 teenagers winging it. Are we in Mexico watching this fight right now?
I'll tell you what, Perez's hair isn't the only thing that's
No.
red. That
No,
nose
no.
is bleeding so much. His trunks are becoming pink. And the sides of his rib cage is becoming red from all these body shots from Rubio.
Well, that's what you call a crimson tide, and right now I think Perez is in a bit of survival mode. Rubio's really starting to get to him with these power punches.
And Kais Jr. is watching Perez closely because the young man has taken a lot of punishment.
Yeah, that blood on the face of Rubio is from Perez. 10 seconds to go in the second round. Scheduled for 6. 19-year-old Pablo Rubio, 18-year-old George Perez in a good scrap at the Velasco Theater in Los Angeles.
Let's watch some replays from round 2. A bloody round for Perez. You see why. There's good work on the inside from Rubio, working both sides of the body, bringing uppercuts up the middle. Here's a nice left to the body. Here's a right to the body, followed by a hook from Perez, but he loses a mouthpiece from a left hook from Rubio. And just look at the damage on the face of 18-year-old Perez. That nose is in bad shape.
For a tall, lean, angular guy, the one thing that impresses me about Rubio, he keeps his punches very compact and short, right from the elbow. We've seen fighters like this that you would think would be more comfortable on the outside. I think Rubio's one of these kids, Doug. I think he's much more comfortable inside the pocket, shortening his punches, working inside, in close, right next to a guy's chest.
And you see how poised he is in the corner. He doesn't seem to be breathing hard at all. Different story with Perez, who we're looking at right now.
We're headed to the third round. Bethel Duran, Doug Fisher, and Steve Kim, led by Will Wright and the Ring TV Live crew, putting it all together here on a busy weekend. It's the eve of Orlando City Salido and the Bandido Francisco Vargas at the StubHub Center. There'll be some StubHub magic on Saturday. But right now, we're in our second bout of the night. And tomorrow's fights, you can watch it on ringtvlive.com. $9.99. You can watch it. Get some great action coming your way. And that's going to start at 4:30 with Jonathan Franco out of the Garcia Stables.
You know, Rubio's style reminds me of Doug a little bit. A tall guy that used to love to bang on the inside. Antonio Margarito. I always thought Margarito, for his size, was a very good infighter. And you see the resemblance, dark hair, before he got all the tattoos and went Metro. But there are certain guys that are much comfortable, much more seasoned on the inside than you think.
A big uppercut. That's after he went to the body really hard. Another uppercut. And Kais Jr., the referee, keeping a real close eye on the 18-year-old George Perez out of Riverside, who's absorbing some punishment right now.
Mouthpiece for the third time. And that is partially due to fatigue, partially due to clean shots landed by Rubio.
Didn't that happen in his last fight, too? The mouthpiece was coming out?
I think so. He gives so much of himself in the opening round.
Does.
He doesn't have, he's too tired to hold that mouthpiece in. And he's not the most defensively adept pugilist out there, so that jaw gets nailed.
Perez, trained by his father, George Sr., watching his son in there. A lot of heart for the 18-year-old, but...
Oh, he's a fighter, but, he's just, the polish isn't there, and you see how important having a good guard, head movement is, and technique is when you look at Rubio. Steve, I would say Rubio has better inside technique than Margarito, who made up for the lack of technique with just his toughness, his conditioning, of course, and that volume punching.
He actually does resemble a little bit of a younger Margarito in the face, and back when his haircut was much shorter. Well, for Rubio, again, he's only 19. I'd love to see where he is in 3 years as he develops his man strength. I'll say this, he's very sharp. He's a very sharp, precise puncher on the inside. He's got a real good feel for being right here.
I think he's defending well on the inside now, whereas in the opening round, he was getting hit with some hooks and right crosses from Perez. He's blocking those and leaning away from them very well right now.
Pablo Rubio, when we met him, Doug, remember he was bald?
Yeah.
Real tight marine cut look. Now, like, what's up with the hair? He's like, well, I haven't cut it in a while. Like, when are you going to cut it? I just don't feel it. Maybe I'm just going to let it grow. Maybe that's, did Margarito come like that too?
Yes, at one point he was.
He had the rose, right? He had the cornrows?
Right.
Tony, what do you call him, Steve?
Rubio's not ready for cornrows.
What's his nickname you have for him, Steve?
The Tijuana Tornado.
I just love hearing you say that.
Burgeoning storm from south of the border. Those
That
were the
mouthpiece
days.
is out again. That's 4 times the mouthpiece been gone. Yes. Look at the highlights from there of the last round.
Brutal. Right uppercut lands from Rubio, and you see he ducks under a return right cross from Perez, then gets right back into offensive position, fires another right uppercut. You see the blood smeared on the right cheek of Perez, blood all over his shorts, blood on my paper here from ringside. The hard night's work for George Perez.
And we love our Twitter. We love our social media. Now we're going to get you guys involved even more. Check this out. Your chance to weigh in on tonight's main event and make it count as the ice goes flowing around here.
Yeah.
I mean, it's dangerous around here. We need some more tells here, Razo. Follow us on Twitter at Golden Boy Boxing, which I know you already do, and you can cast your vote on who you think is going to win tonight's main event. 10-round featherweight bout between Ronnie Rios, who's 25-1, and 17-4, Efren Esquivias. You pick the winner. Go to that Twitter poll at Golden Boy Boxing. As Caiz Jr. says, realizes that Steve Kim is really soaked right here with all the ice around him.
Got a flooding situation here. They're
that's a lot of water.
That's a lot of water.
Because they can't slip if they come around this,
And tomorrow
this blue corner.
at the StubHub Center at 4:30, Jonathan Thunder Navarro, undefeated. He opens up our Ring TV Live broadcast. Also, Nick Arce. You will see Gabe Rosado and Chimpa Gonzalez, all fighters who've been here at the Belasco Theater. Roberto Diaz and Javier Razo, matchmakers, especially with Roberto bringing them up nicely. And now StubHub Magic, but it gets going. 10 fights total at the StubHub Center in Carson on Saturday. Pablo Rubio Jr. in the black, 18-year-old George Perez in the white, as Steve said, the crimson.
I'll tell you what, Perez needed that ice bath to wake him up, and he also needed the pause in action that the cleanup took.
Could it
He
be
to catch his breath and recover a little
intentional?
bit. Maybe. Yeah, could be.
I mean, I'm not one for theories. You guys have been around a lot longer.
But conspiracy and boxing, it just goes hand in hand.
You guys have been around a lot longer than I have.
It's good to have, a healthy amount of cynicism.
I'm learning from you guys. Blood trickling down the nose of the 18-year-old Perez. Pablo Rubio Jr., the fighter who's had all his fights here at the Belasco, brings a good crowd with him, and we're starting to see the evolution of him now. I remember we talked about it and said, this is a guy who the opponent is really going to make him look a different way.
Right.
Because the last couple of fighters that he's had have been rough journeyman veterans.
They were more mature guys. Yeah, they were grown men. They were in their early 30s. They had more experience than he, and they made it tough on him just with the savvy, just with the rough stuff, the craftiness, the caginess. In fact, his last fight, he was the guy who had to fight through the badly bloody nose.
And now you hear somebody who wants to do what he wants to do and makes it up.
And you could tell he's picking things up from these veteran fighters, and he's using them against a younger opponent. That youthful enthusiasm will only take you so far, Steve. At some point, you have to add layers of craft to that aggressiveness and that willingness.
With Rubio's style, I think conditioning is going to be so key. When you fight at this level, at this type of pace, you're going to give and you're going to take. A lot of pitching and catching here. He's going to be fan-friendly. He'll be crowd-pleasing. The question is this style built to last?
Pablo Rubio Jr., his dad Pablo Sr., also a fighter, who was trained by a man named Hector Rodriguez, whose nickname was the Sharks. When Pablo Jr. started boxing, said, we're going to give you that nickname to honor Hector Rodriguez, who was his dad's trainer, because that was just, as he said, it was like another father figure for him at that gym in Whittier. Final seconds of the fourth round.
I see blood around the nose of Rubio now, but I'm not sure if it was wiped off from all the blood from Perez's nose.
Boxing history. Roberto Duran. He was no coward. I know how he began in life. What he willed himself to become.
Is that a real fighter?
Duran should fight no one but me.
You're Roberto Duran. Get in there and act like
like him.
Are we going to be champions? Hands of Stone in theaters everywhere, August 26th.
Cannot wait to see that. Golden Boy Boxing on Ring TV Live is brought to you by Hands of Stone. No mas, no surrender. Relive the legend of Roberto Duran this summer in theaters, August 26th. Nick Arce, he fights tomorrow on ringtvlive.com. Make sure to go check us out on Saturday from the StubHub Center. He's at his hotel room right now watching as two of the stablemates and Rafa Gramajo, who comes up next. And earlier tonight, Tino Nava got the win here on LA Fight Club. Nick Arce also out of the West Side Boxing University High alum. Nick Arce, thanks for watching us. Rest up. You'll be able to check him out on Saturday on ringtvlive.com. You can watch his fight for $9.99. Bonus coverage brought to you by Golden Boy Promotions. We're in the 5th round of 6. How do you see it after 4, Doug?
I have 4 rounds to 0 for Pablo Rubio Jr.
And I have it exactly the same way at 4 rounds to nothing. I think the question is at this point, what is the finishing kick of the Shark? Can he finish the job in the next 2 rounds?
Well, there's blood in that water, right?
Oh,
hey.
Hey.
I've been here all week. It's hot in LA. Uppercut landed by Rubio. Another one going back to that uppercut. 3 straight uppercuts in a row for the fighter in the black trunks, which is Rubio.
Rubio can't miss with that punch from either hand, which means Perez can't defend against that punch from either hand.
It's one thing when you spar guys and you say you know them, but another one when you take the headgear off and the gloves get smaller.
Sparring is sparring. Basically, most of the times you're going at about 2/3 speed, 16-ounce gloves and headgear.
Oh, that was a nice right cross from Perez.
Best punch of the night for the 18-year-old from Riverside.
And Rubio is very good, particularly on the inside, but he is going to be in a lot of hard fights, Steve.
Yeah.
Hence your question, is this style built to last for him? And only time will tell.
Ooh. Oh, snapping back that head. Another one.
You know, a fighter, there are defenses for uppercuts. You can block. You could take your right hand, keep it by your chin, just move it underneath your chin, and whenever you catch that uppercut, you come over with your left hook. That's a natural counter punch for any uppercut.
Well, the problem with Perez is, though, his shoulders are so square to
Right.
Rubio's. One of the ways, you got to turn one of your shoulders to
Right.
the opposite side, and you got to tuck that chin in.
Right. If you're a right-handed fighter, your left shoulder needs to be forward, and you sort of you kind of catch that uppercut. Almost sometimes you can kind of catch it between your shoulder and underneath your right glove, but then you come over with the hook.
All young fighters, to learn this technique that me and Doug are talking about, should watch tape of James Toney from about 1991 till about, what, 2010.
Yes.
Guy was a master of giving angles inside.
George Perez in the white trunks comes to fight. He stands right there in the middle. He'll train with you. He'll absorb the punishment. The 18-year-old has a lot of heart. Ramona High alum. But Pablo Rubio, the Whittier Cardinal, looking good through 5. Saturday, Salido Vargas. But today was the weigh-in in Carson. There you see El Bandido, the Mexican Olympian. That's why he has that tat on that left shoulder, as he's talking in front of Tat.
Vargas looked really good. As did the old man, Sirius Salido. I heard people saying that he looks drawn or looks dried out. I thought he looked pretty good.
Doug, here's the reality of today's fighters. When you weigh in more than 24 hours before the fight, most fighters are going to look drawn because they're going to usually fight at a weight class that if they had to weigh in the morning of, like years ago, they wouldn't be in that division anymore.
True.
And the co-feature, El Camarón. There you see the pocket rocket, Wayne Rooney. Wayne McCullough is his new trainer. And Abe Lopez, fighters that have headlined here at the Belasco Theater on Fight Club.
Both guys are very excited to be fighting on HBO Boxing After Dark. Both guys describe it as a dream come true. They're going to take that enthusiasm into that opportunity.
It's an LA Fight Club playoff.
It really
There it is. Well, that's what this series is for. You bring the young kids, bring them up, a good crowd, build their fan base, and next thing you know, you're on HBO at the StubHub Center. 6th and final round, Pablo Rubio Jr. in the black, trying to finish off George Perez. Rubio real comfortable in that ring because he knows every inch about it. Shark Sports, the company he and his dad founded, they built this ring. Golden Boy uses him, and when Pablo is not fighting here at the Belasco, he's here at 8 a.m. setting up.
Oh, wait a minute. This really is a Shark Tank.
Oh,
See,
there we go.
Beto, I had to get in on the action.
There we go. Give me some that. Don't leave me hanging on that one. Oh, that's nice.
I could not let you have all the action,
Oh,
Beto.
we got it. That's a shirt for the next fight for Pablo Rubio. But yeah, pretty cool story. They had the ring. They go around, put it up in different areas. When he doesn't fight, you'll see him afterwards taking down the ropes. And right now, he's taking apart George Perez.
One thing I'd look for, I think Rubio, for what he wants to do, his style is good technique, good torque, good leverage on his punches. Keep this in mind, though. He's only 19 years old. How strong is he going to be? How's he going to develop physically at, let's say, age 23, 24, and 25? We go back to the example of Antonio Margarito. Doug, he lost 3 of his first 8 or 9 fights and then became a different guy in his mid-20s.
Yeah, I was at some of those fights that he lost.
Rodney Jones, yeah.
20 years ago in Culver City.
Culver City?
Doug's been around the block, man.
Where do they have a fight at Culver City?
The Memorial Auditorium.
Okay,
the Veterans,
yeah.
yeah. On Overland. Overland in Washington, I think, yeah.
But you meant maybe at the skating rink.
That's not far.
Pablo Rubio, you saw Meta World Peace in his corner to bring him out. He knows Pablo's manager. They do some business together. Met the kid, really liked him. And Meta, a huge boxing fan, does boxing workouts in the off season.
Meta loves a good fight. Ask anyone at the Palace.
He's here in attendance, as are many of the Golden Boy fighters in town for the fights this weekend. And make sure you can check that out starting at 4:30, ringtvlive.com on Saturday.
This has been a physical, grueling, bloody affair. Most of the blood from George Perez.
I mean,
credit to him, still swinging in here. I mean, I would have probably kept him on the stool after the 4th round, to be quite honest. But
I mean, there's some guys who show up to get a paycheck.
Right. Now, this goes beyond money for
I don't think
Perez
Perez even knows he's getting a check.
Yeah, now this is his pride right here. This is who he is, and he is a 100% fighter. As he loses his mouthpiece for the 4th time in this fight.
And that'll do it. 6 tough rounds. George Perez with a lot of heart for the 18-year-old. Pablo Rubio, they mix it up. They know each other. They sparred. Sportsmanship. A lot of that blood from Rubio is going to come off when they wipe him off. There you see his dad wiping it off. Man of World Peace, Monica Sears, they're all going into the ring. Vice President. And then you see, a lot of credit for George Perez, man.
He hung in there. He made it a fight. Got his blood on my shirt, on my production sheet.
There you go.
Yep. I'm at a fight.
There you go. You see, I like Perez, man. Talking to him, good attitude, good scrap, bloodied up, still poses for the cameras. You got to. Never know whose Instagram you might end up on. Now let's look at some highlights of this fight.
A lot of infighting. That's really, to me, the story of this fight. And it was Rubio better than he eats a right cross from the outside from Perez. But Perez would soon be forehead to forehead, chest to chest. And that's where Rubio was able to do a lot of damage with body punches and uppercuts. And there was a nice compact left hook that dislodged the mouthpiece of Perez. First time of 4 in this fight.
Doug, I thought that Perez came out of the chute very quickly, but I thought halfway through the first he gained control. Certainly the superior technician, but I think this was a valuable 6 rounds, as I like to call it. Got really good professional resistance.
He really
tonight.
did. He was in there with somebody whose willpower just exceeded his physical strength and boxing ability. Perez is a limited guy, but he still gave Rubio a fight just with his willpower and his spirit.
Here we go with the results. They're coming in on our Twitter poll posted at Golden Boy Boxing. That's at Twitter. The fans have spoken. Let's see what they have so far. Ronnie Rios in our main event. Santana taking on Efrain Esquivia, 75-25. Rios coming off that big win over Jason Velez in Las Vegas. And you can still go and put in your vote. Go to check it out at Golden Boy Boxing. Let's go to our ring announcer, Joe Martinez.
And now, fight fans, after 6 rounds, we go to the judges' scorecards. Here are the totals. Dr. Lou Moret has it 60-53. Judges Raul Kai Sr. and Zach Young 59-54. All for your winner by unanimous decision. And still undefeated, the Shark, Pablo Rubio Jr.
From Whittier, 19-year-old Pablo Rubio Jr.
Yeah.
Gets the victory, now 6-0.
The Shark. The Shark. I'm talk the Shark.
The Shark is talking. I don't know if it's Jerry Tarkanian.
God rest his soul. All-time great coach.
Long Beach State.
Meta World Peace. Meta World Peace.
Is that a song just for Pablo Rubio?
I think so.
Okay.
These prospects move quickly. They get their brand together. They get their hats. They get their T-shirts. They get their hip-hop song.
There used to be a time you had to be at least 20-0 before you got your own theme song.
Oh, I thought you were going to say you were 20. He's 19. And I think we're going to get Pablo or the Panda's friend or somebody. See, we're right here. This is us. And then they're right there. And then that guy.
We know who that is.
All I know is that my partners are leaving. Okay, so Pablo Rubio comes in. What's up, man? Grab a headset right there. Oh, the Panda's friend's going to join us. What's up, Panda's friend?
All right, cool. Thank you, man.
There you go. Pablo Rubio Jr. You get the victory.
Yes, sir.
Congratulations. As Meta figures out his social media right now, don't worry about it. Hey, there you go.
Hey, your video?
Ready?
Yeah.
Boom. Yeah. How do you feel after going those 6 tough rounds against a guy that you know?
It was tougher than I thought. Well, every opponent is tough, and he came all out, and we went all the way through 6 rounds, and it was an awesome fight, awesome bloody fight, man.
Wow. It was a bloody fight though, but you know this dude. You guys have sparred before, and early on it looked like you might have been stopping him. What happened in that fight?
We tried to keep going, but he's a tough opponent. He kept his stance, and he kept going. And he's a tough warrior like every other fighter.
Meta World Peace, you know Pablo really well.
Yes, sir.
The last
Yes,
couple of
sir.
fights, you were right there ringside. I looked over, your eyes were this big, and you were giving instructions. What'd you see?
I mean, not instructions, but it's just amazing watching somebody that you come to see fight and you're working with them. It's just nerve-wracking, man. But
It's nerve-wracking for you.
For me, yeah.
You won an NBA
but it's
final.
great. But I love boxing, and you always wish the best for both fighters, You never want to see anybody get hurt, but it's a fight game,
What do you see right here, Pablo? You knocked out his mouthpiece 4 times in this fight.
Yeah, I kept seeing that, but that doesn't do anything. It happened to me my previous fight. Nothing wrong. You keep fighting. Don't stop.
Meta, how did you two meet?
Well, my boy Randy Garcia, and I love boxing, as you know.
Yeah, you do.
I'm excited to just have a chance to be a part of boxing. I love Bob going a lot of the fights.
All right.
For a long time.
Was that a song about you?
I actually chose it for him. I didn't tell him.
I didn't
But I
even
came out with Panda. I was like, it has
Who
to be
did
it.
that song?
Yeah, I picked it. I saw that I came out with the black and white. I was like, Meta's with me. I was like, I gotta do Panda.
There you go, the Panda's friend right there. Hey, the camera's right there. Sending out your shout-outs to Pablo Rubio.
It's Pablo the Shark Rubio right here with Meta World Peace. Follow me at Pablo_the_Shark_Rubio on Instagram. Thank you, everybody.
Meta, what do you got coming up?
I'm just, we just here, the fights, man. Shark Sports, man. Shark
There you
Sports.
go. Meta World Peace right there. NBA champion Meta World
Shark
Peace.
Sports, baby.
Pablo Rubio Jr. And our next fight is in the ring as Doug Fisher and Steve King will join us again. This is a good one right here. Oh, the commissioner's looking for you, so you get to go, baby.
All right, sweet. Thank you,
Meta, you
Beto.
can hang out if you want.